Hey y'all, we've been cooking like crazy around here today. Carolina football is tonight, so we made some of those wonderful pepperoni sausage pizza balls that I did a couple of videos on. I didn't video them again because it's way more fun to just cook them and eat them. Anyway, I threw them in some meatball sandwiches and they were ready to go for the ball game. But that's not what I came to talk to you about. We're gonna do some venison jerky, deer jerky. It's a real easy recipe. I got 4 pounds. I've already done the hard part before you guys see the video. It's already been processed. I've already sliced it. I'll show you. I use my slicer. I didn't really want to bore y'all with all of that, but I do have an industrial slicer I bought from Cabela's years ago. But I will show you how thick I sliced it. It's only about 1/8 of an inch. And we're fixing to get it seasoned up. We're gonna let it sit in the refrigerator overnight and marinade. And then tomorrow we're gonna put it on the Masterbuilt electric smoker at about 160 degrees Fahrenheit. And we're gonna let them rock and roll. So let's get to it. Okay, this is how thin I sliced it. Let me get over here in the light where you can see what we're doing. All right, this is how thin I sliced it. It's only about 1/8 of an inch thick. And what we're gonna do with that is we're gonna put it in the Masterbuilt smoker at 160 degrees for 6 to 8 hours. But this is my marinade pan. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mix up all my marinade, and we're going to use per pound 4 tablespoons of soy sauce, 4 tablespoons Worcestershire sauce, 1 tablespoon ketchup, half a tablespoon of salt, or half a teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, and 1/4 teaspoon of onion salt. Now that's for 1 pound, so this is 4.5 pounds, but I'm not gonna get that intricate with it. I'm gonna multiply this recipe times 4, and I'm gonna put the 1 pound recipe in the description. So let me get all this stuff mixed up and we'll be right back. Okay, because I had to do 16 tablespoons of soy sauce and 16 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce, I figured I would spare y'all having to watch all that. So it is sitting right there. I've already put it in. Now we're fixing to start on everything else, which is not quite as time consuming. And that was while I opened up the ketchup. Okay, so now we're putting 4 tablespoons of ketchup. Now, this is Aldi ketchup. I don't know if it matters. You know, I don't even know who makes Aldi ketchup. But it was not really expensive, so that's what we went with. Okay, now we're going with 4 half tablespoons or 4 half teaspoons of salt. And my knuckleheadedness did not get the salt out, so all right, so 4 half teaspoons is 2 teaspoons, and I have this fancy handy dandy deal. So 2 teaspoons. All right, now we're going to do 4 1/4 teaspoons of black pepper. All right, so that's basically 1 teaspoon, right? And that's the way that math works out. So let's get to 1 teaspoon. And actually, I'm gonna put a little extra because it's gonna overflow. And that is not gonna hurt anything at all. So let's just, okay. All right, so 4 1/4 teaspoons is 1/2. Now we're doing 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. So let's get some garlic powder going on. And see, it calls for per pound 1 1/4, so we're doing 1. All right, well, dump that in there. And then we need some onion salt. Nope, I don't have onion salt, but I do have onion powder. So I'm going to use onion powder, and once again, this is per pound, 1/4 teaspoon. So I'll put a teaspoon in, and we've already put some salt in. Okay, so that's where we are. Now what we got to do is mix everything up so that all of our marinades get together with our venison. All right. Now this is a really good recipe. I've done this before, and you have to get a little down and dirty with it, because we want to get everything all swallowed up in it. And I like this pan or tray or whatever you want to call it. I use it for marinating a lot because it's got ridges in the bottom of it. So it allows the meat to stay up off the bottom and just completely soak in the marinade. Now, this is 4 pounds. Now, I don't know if you can see how thin that is. It's about 1/8 of an inch thick. And we just want to, we trim this up. It's got very little fat on it. A lot of what little fat there is going to render, because we're going to cook this for about 6 to 8 hours on the Masterbuilt electric smoker, which is like the most gigantic dehydrator you could ever come across. So we'll set it at 160 degrees in the morning, and we're going to see what happens. This is going to be some good jerky. I can look at it now and tell it's going to be one of my better batches I ever made. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to spread this out around, and I'm going to leave this not refrigerated for about 2 or 3 hours. And while that's going on, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to flip it from time to time, because I'm going to have this lid on it. And what I really like about this lid, I bought this thing on Amazon about 20 years ago. But what I really like about this lid is you can lock it on there. Of course, when you're trying to do it for a video, it's not going to want to cooperate. All right, sorry about that. It does seal up really good and tight, but sometimes it can be a pain. All right, so unedited, I'm flipping it. So I'm going to leave it sitting for about 2 hours like this, and I'm going to rotate it about every 30 minutes, make sure we get good coverage. And then I'm going to throw it in the refrigerator, and I'm going to let it sit in the fridge overnight. And then right now it is 6 p.m. South Carolina time. So at 8 o'clock, I'll put it in the refrigerator. I'm going to pull it out, I don't know, sometime 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, something like that. And then we're going to put it in the Masterbuilt, and we're going to have us some of the best daggone deer jerky anybody's ever had. So we'll see y'all in the morning. Okay, y'all, so we have marinated our jerky, our meat, overnight, and we are gonna dehydrate it in our Masterbuilt smoker. So let's go ahead and start pulling these racks out, and we'll load the racks up out here, and then we'll slide them back in. All right, one thing I do want to do is I'm going to take my drip pan out, and I'm going to set that in there like that, because that's going to be a lot of drippings, and I want to catch as much as I can so that I don't really screw up the inside. There we go. So I don't screw up the inside of the smoker, because it's going to make a big mess. All right, now let me get some camera angles switched up, and let's start loading up some racks. Okay, so I got some paper towels laid out here. Let's open up our marinade container. And look at that. Man, doesn't that look like some good meat? Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. I've got these racks sitting over the paper towel, and I'm gonna lay the meat out on the racks. And then we're gonna, I started to say smoke because I'm not gonna use any wood. I really don't want to smoke them. I just want to take all the moisture out of them. And the Masterbuilt electric smoker is a pretty good tool for that. I want to have a little bit of separation on them. And some of them I'll just have to grill in a frying pan later on and give to the dogs. But I do have 4.5 pounds. I do not expect to get all of that on here. But I do have another dehydrator, which is not part of this video, because this whole video is going to be the Masterbuilt. Not because I have any deal with them, but I can do it faster on the Masterbuilt because I can set it at 165 degrees. All right, so I'm going to set this. That goes in. Now we do the next one. I'll let y'all watch two, and then I'm gonna finish them up. And after I finish them up, we'll come back to get them going, get everything heating up, and start rolling from there. I did cut them to 1/8 of an inch-ish thick, which if you saw the beginning of the video, you saw that. This is 4.5 pounds of sliced up venison. And if you run into pieces, you just have to put them on here any which way you can. I mean, any kind of smoker will work for this as long as you can control the temperature around 150 to 165 degrees. Because you want to slowly dehydrate it, you don't want to cook it. I mean, we could throw this on the Weber or the egg and we could grill these things up, but I mean, that's not going to give you your deer jerky. All right, I'm going to set this one inside the Masterbuilt. I'm going to do the other two and then we'll get back with y'all. Okay, so I got my 4 racks set in there. I got my catch pan underneath. Like I said, we're not going to put any smoke on these. We're just gonna dehydrate them. So what I'm gonna do, turn it on, close everything up. All right, I'm gonna set my temperature at 160 degrees. This is an electric smoker. You can do it with a gas smoker. You can do it with a stick-fired smoker. Just have to be able to maintain your temperature. All right, now this one also likes me to set a time. So it's gonna take about 8 hours. I'm gonna set it for 12. All right, and we're gonna do that. And we're heating up. It's currently at 75 degrees. We'll check on it in a little while because we're done. We don't have to do anything else to this now, but this is only gonna take 6 or 8 hours. So let's let it go. All right, guys. Let's see, 11:15, 7:15. We're 8 hours in. I got some doubts about this technique here. I'm gonna give it about 30 more minutes. And don't get me wrong, it's not inedible by any stretch. I'm gonna give it about 30 more minutes. I'm gonna pull it off and then I'm gonna let my wife taste it. And we're gonna go with what she says. I did pull some of it and I gave it another 30 minutes and it turned out good. Now, I did bump the temp up. Instead of 160, I bumped it up to 230, but I did it that way for an hour. So I'm gonna try to enumerate this best I can in the description, but the best way to cover this one is gonna be watch the whole video. And let's see, make sure we got everything good. And I tell you what, that's some good looking jerky. All right, y'all. I hadn't weighed it, so I don't know what it cooked down to. What I did is on the master belt, I jacked it up to about 300 degrees and I let it go for 30 minutes and perfect. It is perfect. It's not dry. You can feel the moisture in it. Got some chew. It's good. I was really questioning myself there for a little while because I've only done it on the master belt one time before, but I'll tell you what, this is good. When I put everything down into the description, I'm gonna do my best to tell you how long I did at what temperature so that you can increase it. And if you want to do it on a green egg or something like that, that's gonna be a little bit different. But this is the Masterbuilt Electric. So I will put that in the description. I'm not hawking anything this time. You guys know those links will be there. And until next time I see y'all at the grill, I still got a piece of this in my mouth chewing on it. Y'all keep on grilling.